Yo man, we're back. Another one. We're gonna be discussing debt and taxes today, man. Debt and taxes. It ties beautifully into our previous lesson about credit cards and money printing, man. You know, it's crazy. The government says that there's no taxes on debt, right? Because you never fully beneficially receive this money. Because as soon as you get it, you have to pay it back, right? You're obligated to pay it back. So you've never fully received this money. That's what they tell us on the surface. But remember, everything has to tie back into the banks. The banks are the center of this whole system. The whole point is to get you to take out more loans. Now, there's no issue with this. That's the foundation we have to understand, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say I've got an entity in South Africa, right? And we're making some money during the year, and at the end of the year, our taxable income is zero, right? But if you look at my bank account, I have ridiculous figures in there, right? So I want to distribute this money over into my account. How do I do that? Well, the average individual, what they would do is they would pay that money over as a dividend to themselves. This triggers 20% taxes. You know, wealthy individuals would not do that. What wealthy individuals do, they set up multiple non-trading entities, famously known as shell companies. So what you do now, what they do, they take the money from one entity, from the main entity, and they distribute this into the shell companies. And there's many. You have to understand, it's like a web, like a spider web. There's a lot. And they're in South Africa, they're in other countries outside South Africa. There's a lot of them. So like, imagine this. From one account, it goes into a different account. And from that account, it goes into like 5 different accounts. And from those, you understand, it's a web. It's huge. They call it offshore oblivion, right? You send your money into offshore oblivion. As soon as you do that, like, it's hard for the government to track you. Very difficult. And remember, you're transferring as loans. There's no taxes on loans. Remember, debt and taxes. You have to understand those two. There's no taxes on debt, right? So you transfer all this money, and then you do it enough, and then you finally reach a company or entity that you've set up in a tax haven country, like the Cayman Islands. Once you reach the Cayman Islands, right, all the money funnels back into like your main entity within the Cayman Islands, right? Once you do that, now because it's in a tax haven country, you don't have to pay taxes necessarily, right? Or you may pay very little taxes. So instead of paying the 20% dividends tax, you might end up paying 0% or 1% or whatever. But the whole idea is the same thing. Take the money from your entity into your bank account. But you can't do it directly because you're going to trigger 20% taxes. You have to move it over into an offshore account, offshore entity, so that when you do that, there's no taxes on that, right? That's why you see in the movies, you see all these rich individuals, they chilling in Monaco, they're chilling in the Panama, all these tax haven countries, man. So that when they distribute this money, because remember, the whole process is coming through as a loan. There's no taxes on those loans, right? To different entities, no taxes until you finally reach the one entity, and then you transfer it to yourself as dividend. Now there's no taxes because you're in a tax haven country. And none of this is illegal. You have to understand that, right? Now there's a difference between illegal and moral, right? None of this is illegal. That means you're allowed to do it. Whether it's the right thing to do, that's up to you to decide, man. But that's how the system works. That's how it feeds on itself, man. You have to understand these things. You have to research. You have to understand debt and taxes. That's the fundamentals, man. Debt, taxes, and real estate. But we'll discuss real estate next time. Yo.